Hi, this is Richard Jacobs from Speakeasy Marketing. Today I'm going to talk about direct mail for attorneys. Does it work? Is it ethical? Can it get you clients? Yes to all these questions. Now, direct mail is not available in every state, and yes, every state bar has rules on how it must be done ethically. I haven't found the rules to be too troublesome. For instance, they may be you have to put attorney advertisement in a large enough font on the outside of the envelope and on the letter itself. Doesn't suppress response, not a big deal. Some states may say you have to have a disclaimer that says, if you've already hired counsel, please disregard this letter. Again, not a problem. Some states may require that you send in your letter once it's written to the bar for approval. Again, as long as you write a good letter, not a problem. So direct mail, the practice areas that I've seen it used for is DUI, criminal defense, auto accidents, which you may have to wait 30 days to mail people in some states, even divorce. Divorce, one party serves the other, and the other person may not get notice of the divorce until they're served, and it may take a week or two or even more. So there's an opportunity to direct mail, because it's public record, the people that get served. Also, bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a huge thing too. Again, public record. So there's a lot of practice areas that can use this method. Sorry. Direct mail works because if you think about it, mail nowadays, it's a much less cluttered environment than online. If you're on a website, if you're watching a video, there's all these banners and other stuff flashing that can distract you. But if you're sitting there with a piece of paper, you can pay attention to it, and there's nothing to distract you. And people, when they get mail, they pay attention to it because, bills will come through the mail. Unfortunately, legal notices will come through the mail. Usually pretty serious stuff. Yes, there is junk mail, but your letter that you'd send will not come across as junk mail. First of all, it's coming from an attorney, so someone's going to open it. And they're going to pay attention, and they're going to read it. And you may have a few minutes of the reader's attention to get your message. Online, with all this distraction, and it happens. I mean, how often you go to a website and then you forget why you're there, and you go to 3 other websites, and then you go back to your email and you're like, what was I doing? It happens to me. I feel like I have Alzheimer's sometimes when I'm on the web. Very distracting. So you want to, talk to your prospects in a way that an environment was just you and them. Yes, I know in some jurisdictions there's a lot of attorneys that send mail. But I've worked with attorneys, for instance, in Los Angeles, where 100 people will send DUI mailers, literally 100, and you can still get clients from it. So don't be afraid there's too much competition, or people don't read nowadays, or blah, 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 blah. People do read their mail. It's a great channel that's a lot less cluttered than online channels, which everyone thinks is the end-all, be-all, and that's all you do is online. Everyone's online. Not true, okay? If your clientele tends to be older folks, especially older folks, do very well with direct mail. They'll read it and pay attention. So what should a direct mail piece look like to make it more effective than normal? Should it just be a standard letter with your letterhead and your law firm name and say, records indicate that this and that happened to you and we can help you, call now? Well, you can do that, but that's what everyone else does. So one thing I'd recommend is if you're considering direct mail, ask one of your clients if they'd bring in all the mail they've gotten, okay? You may have to do something to get them to do that, but really just asking, one of them will. And you'll see what all your competition is mailing if anyone's doing it, okay? You'll see most of the letters are the same, boilerplate stuff. Maybe a picture of the attorney, letterhead, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I've helped craft direct mail packages for many attorneys in different states. And I've gotten much better response than they were getting before they hired me to do it. And here's some of the ways I did it. So, state bar permitting, we would put a page of testimonials in with the letter. And that helps because the person sees right then and there, okay, this guy's telling me or this gal's telling me to call them. Oh, look, here's some people that they've used that shows that they like them and they help them, and etc. Okay. Another thing would be a sheet of case studies. So here's a case study. Mr. Smith was facing second DUI charges, and we were able to get his breath test results suppressed because of this reason. So, this client, his case was dismissed or was knocked down to a wet reckless. Or let's say for bankruptcy, this client was trying to keep their house in foreclosure. It was a family house they've had for 45 years, and by doing a Chapter 13 and in talking with the trustee, we were able to get their payments reduced from X to half of X, and they were able to keep the house when they thought they'd otherwise lose it. So that's a case study. Doesn't have the person's name, but it has circumstance. Okay. Again, that's a great credibility piece to put into your letter to help boost your response. Another thing you can do is mail twice. Why? Because everyone's got good days and bad days. I may get 30 pieces of mail on day one, and I may not open yours. Or my wife may be yelling at me that day, or I may not have gone to the mailbox that day, or the mail got thrown behind something on the table and never looked at. So you send to me again 3 or 4 days later, I may open it, and you may get more response. And I have noticed people do get more response that way. Certain types of law, people will procrastinate. Actually, every kind of law. So, if you mail to me on day one, I may not be ready to face the situation. A week later, I may be, or my court date's coming up in 2 days. Now I'm ready to take care of this thing. I'm done procrastinating. So you just never know. So mailing twice, even 3 times, can really help boost your response. Now, there's even more tactics and tricks I can go into on direct mail. I don't want to make this an exhaustively long video. So if you're interested in direct mail and you want to find out more about it, Google around and look at it, or you're welcome to call Speakeasy Marketing. The number is 888-225-8594. Website is www.speakeasymarketinginc.com. If you're thinking about direct mail, or you have a piece that's out there that's getting you, low response or no response, we could definitely tweak it, make it better, and make it a profit center for you. So let me know if you're interested, and contact us. Thanks.